I had 3 boys. She had 2 boys. Since she had had a hysterectomy, and I had had a vasectomy, and just to be sure she had her tubes tied, it was pretty unlikely that there was going to be any our boys or whatever. But doesn't mean we didn't keep trying. But she signed her lease in April. I signed my lease in May. We were neighbors, but we didn't really know each other. But our children played together whenever I had my boys. And that meant there were 5 boys, all within 6, 7 years of each other, and they played boy games together, and we did things together, and I started taking her boys, and she came to the door one day and said, "Where are you taking my son?" And as a good mother would do. Anyway, the boys being friends really made it easy when my king-size bed moved a couple apartments away to hers, and all my clothing started ending up there. And by August, we were pretty much a family of 7, sort of suddenly. And in August, late August, we decided we were going to take a canoe trip. And we started out we had to take 2 cars because it was a point-to-point trip. Sorry, I have to get a little technical here to fill in the gaps, but we started out from our apartment in Round Lake and went to Ballston Spa, and we staged a car actually near Saratoga Lake, and then went back to Ballston Spa, where we went into the Smack Bar restaurant. I don't know if any of you remember the Smack Bar, but it was a legend in Ballston Spa, and everybody who was anybody went to the Smack Bar. And who did we see that morning with 5 kids around the 2 of us? Family Court Judge Ferradino. Boy, did the 2 of us rack up brownie points that day. Anyway, we went down to the village park in Ballston Spa, and put the boats in the caterhosseras and started off. The older boys in the aluminum canoe went on first. They knew what they were doing, and they went first. And we went in the fiberglass canoe, which it was an early version of lightweight canoes. It wasn't as tough as today they're made out of Kevlar, and back then they were just fiberglass, and we had to be careful. So there were areas where we actually had to pull it, get out and walk and pull the boat. We were paddling down, having a really nice, we packed a picnic lunch, had a beautiful day, and the older boys now were ahead. It was mid-afternoon. The older boys were ahead in the aluminum canoe, and we heard this noise, a horrible sound from the side of this. And we paddled down, and there's a stretch of rapids we had to navigate, and then paddle back to where this noise was coming from. And there, in the river, caught up in the eddy, was a puppy, belly up, dead in the water. It was so sad. But that wasn't what was making the noise. It was a section where the caterhosseras turned, and in the springtime the water comes down in torrents, and it tears away at the tree roots, so the tree roots are exposed. Well, hanging on to one of those tree roots was what at first looked like a rat, a big rat. The face was caked with crud, and other people, she and boys that were in the canoe said, "Oh my God, don't touch." I didn't think it was a rat. I picked it up by the nape of the neck and I put it behind me in the canoe. And we paddled down. We paddled down, and by the time we reached Route 9, where Route 9, just north of Exit 12, There's a mobile station there. There's a new Stewart's there. The Roosevelt Motel is there, if anybody wants a landmark. But we paddled down to that point, and the car was staged still a mile down further, but she got out of the canoe with the dog, and it was obviously a dog at this point, and walked up to where we knew there was a phone booth there at the mobile station and called our local vet. Now, we had no pets, and we didn't know anything about the vet, but the vet says it's going to be $50 just for me to come to the office. Then whatever I do, it's on top of that. This is before the days of docking the boxes, and when you had to actually pay the vet to come to his office on a Sunday afternoon. Anyway, we get this, she gets, and then one of the boys and I paddle down. We get in the car, put the canoes on the car, paddle back, and we had to do the logistical thing in reverse, go back and get her car, and then go home. And then they take the dog to the vet. One of the boys goes with her, takes the dog to the vet. That night, the vet says, from all indications that I see, it's about a 6-week-old, closest thing to a purebred chocolate lab. That's the only way I can describe it. I can't see anything else in it but chocolate lab. And he said he's got about a 50-50 shot of living the night. It's in such rough shape. If you hadn't pulled it out of there, there's no way it would have lasted another day. So we, at one point, someone had said, if we keep it, his name's Canoe. Well, she had 2 boys. I had 3 boys. For the next 17 years, we had Canoe.
Oh.